When you retire, you may get a chance to go to football heaven. This is football heaven.
Hey guys, welcome to The Mission. I'm your host, Jameer Howerton, and I am super excited for today's conversation. You know, we are going to get a chance to talk to somebody who's been a first, who will be a first right here on The Mission. And as we're on our path to Canton, Ohio for this year's 2022 enshrinement powered by Johnson Controls, I get the opportunity to catch up with a finalist. And he is a Super Bowl 29 champion and a legend of the San Francisco 49ers. Mr. Bryant Young is joining us right here on The Mission. Mr. Young, welcome to The Mission, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Jameer. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, congratulations. There's so much in order of being a finalist for this year's 2022 class of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. When you received that news of being a finalist, how did that resonate to you?
You know what? It was really special because you think about the path that you took and then being eligible to be nominated, then going from that to the semifinalists, then to the finalists. And it's just a great feeling to be among a group of great guys. You know, you think about all the great players that have played this game, and there are a lot more out there, but to be narrowed down to be one of those 15 is a great feeling.
You know, I have to give you your flowers because, you know, when you think of the outpour of love, and there was an amazing article, Kevin Gogan said that he rates ahead of Hall of Famers John Randall and Warren Sapp. And your guy, Willie Roaf, Pro Football Hall of Famer, said he was one of those guys with a quiet demeanor. He wasn't really a talker on the sidelines or whatever. He was just a class act. How does that make you feel when you hear Pro Football Hall of Famers and your colleagues speak so highly of you?
You know, it's really humbling to me because you never know the impact that you will have on somebody. When I think about just playing the game, my intent is to go out there and play with everything that I got for my teammate, for my organization, my teammates, the coaches, the organization. And you just never know as you're playing it, what effect that will have on your opponent. And so I'm humbled by that, to be able to hear those type of words and the respect that's garnered from having playing against someone. It's humbling.
I want to go back to 1994 when you were drafted in the first round, 7th overall. What did that day mean to you and your family?
It was special because you think about all the hard work that you put in up until that point. And I was a little green about the process, even leading up to that. You know, I'm a freshman, sophomore, had dreams and aspirations of maybe playing, but I didn't really asphyxiate myself on just the NFL. I was just kind of living in the moment. And here I am at that very juncture and getting drafted by the 49ers. It was a dream come true because I think about all the moments when you just focus on what's important at that particular time, and you do that day in and day out. And then for that to come to fruition and to get selected by an incredible organization, it was a dream come true for me.
What was it like walking in that locker room the first time? I mean, feeling the spirits and the ghosts of the great men that wore that 49ers jersey.
You know, just you quickly learn, at least for me, haven't been around some really elite athletes in college, but here you are. You hear about these incredible players in that locker room, and then you finally get a chance to meet them. You can't be starstruck, because I realized at that moment, hey, they brought me in for a reason. You know, they brought me in to do a job and to play a role and to do it well as best I can to help the team. And so, you know, it was an honor to be selected and be in that locker room among some of the greatest players in the NFL.
And speaking of college, you know, one of my all-time favorite, my second all-time favorite football movies, right under Remember the Titans, is Rudy. I just love it. You know, I cry every time. I mean, when I see Rock, when he goes, I don't know nothing about nothing. And then at the end, when he's clapping because of Rudy, man, I tear up every time I think about it. But just the great tradition, and I just been watching this documentary on Joe Montana of Notre Dame. What did it mean to go there? What did it mean to wear that gold helmet that's sprayed in 14 karat gold?
Yeah, it was special. You know, you think about those type of stories when you see it play out on a big screen with Rudy, and then you have a chance to be there and walk it and really understand what it's all about. There's a special, unique mystique about the university. You know, all the greats that have come before you, and here you are, you're living in that moment, and you don't. Sometimes you could take it for granted until you go through that whole experience, understanding that it is special. But when you have a chance to come back for a game or some other event or an opportunity to visit the campus, it is a unique and special place. And it was an honor to be able to have that experience and to do it with a lot of great people, student athletes, the student body, coaches, faculty, administrators. I enjoyed my experience there. It was beautiful.
Now, when you entered into the NFL and you're in that locker room in the San Francisco 49ers, who were some of the elders, if you will, that kind of took you under their wing to show you the way of how to be a pro?
Yeah. You know, I think for me, it was the whole D line. You know, in that D line room, I had Richard Dent, Ricky Jackson, two Hall of Famer, Charles Mann, who had a great career with the Washington football team at now. Dennis Brown was in his, seventh or eighth year, who lockered right next to me. There was a lot of guys, Tim Harris, those are just the D linemen. Then you had Ken Norton, Gary Plummer, you had Deion Sanders on the back end, you had Tim McDonald as well. You had a lot of great guys that were just willing to, you know, give you every piece of nugget to help you and keep you in the pocket to help you move along and make great choices. And you know, it was so much information for me to be able to dissect and choose what was important at that particular time to help me in that moment. But I had some great guys that were willing to offer all the type of advice that I needed in my first year.
It must have been something, Bryant, because I'm just learning about the Lynn Eschmont Award for inspirational and courageous play. 8 times you awarded this, and no other member of the 49ers organization has won it no more than twice. But the beautiful thing about it is it's voted by your teammates.
Yes.
I'm trying to find the right question to ask and help me through this, but what did they see in you that propelled you to be that leader for them in that locker room?
Yeah, that's you know, I think about that a lot, Jameer, and sometimes it's hard to wrap my mind around that in terms of how my peers viewed me in that manner, what that award stood for, and to each year to receive that in that moment. And I think about all the great players that came in that locker room. It is really humbling to receive that award. You know, it means so much to me because it was voted on by my teammates. That, you know, you think about all the times that you go in the practice field or you step out on the game field. For me, it was really holding up my end of the bargain and trying to do it the best I possibly can for my teammate. And so to be able to be voted on each year in that manner and to have that type of regard and respect, it's humbling when I think about all the times that came about.
And then I studied about I mean, a lot of people, the injury that you sustained, I mean, it could have been a career-ending injury, but it wasn't for you because you went on to higher heights and what you were able to accomplish throughout your career. But if you can, you know, to be named the NFL 1999 NFL Comeback Player of the Year after going through that injury and to go on to do what you do, if you could talk about the support staff, the mindset, how you rehab to get back to that level, that top level of competition.
Like you said, there's so many people that were a part of that. You think about when the injury initially happened. I remember the coach being there on the field to console me as best he could, and Steve Mariucci. And then here's the owner of our team, Eddie DeBarlo, who is right there waiting for the gurney to get to the ambulance to take me to the hospital. And right there, you just felt this love and compassion in that moment from coaches, the ownership, the fans. But after surgery and throughout care and rehab, you had so many people, the doctors, the trainers, the strength and conditioning staff, outside people in terms of physical therapists that were a part of that. So it was a group effort. It was a village of people that really helped me along the way. And it was so challenging and so tough at times. There were times where I felt like this may not be turning a corner, but then there was a glimmer of light when it finally happened that I just held on to each time, and you could see the progress slowly but surely. But it took a lot of grit, took a lot of determination, it took a lot of hard work, and it took a village to make it happen.
Man, not only were you a force on the field, but in the community as well. And if you could talk about, and still to this day, some of the community work that motivates you to get out and serve the community.
You know, I've always been brought up to give what's been given to me. We are responsible for being able to pay it forward. And so for me to be able to see that from my dad, serving this community, serving in the local church, I first had that example there. And for me, I always thought that if I had the opportunity to do good for a community or for a cause, it was my responsibility. I wanted to make sure that I did my part. I wanted to do my part to uplift someone, to inspire somebody, to encourage somebody. And so for me to be in a position where you have something, give something. And so it was important for me to do that.
Wow. We're honored to be joined by finalists for this year's class of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Mr. Bryant Young, right here on the mission, giving us some really inspiration words and truly to like overall live a Hall of Fame life. And, you know, we want to thank you for sharing that. As we shift gears a bit, want to have a little fun. Want to get your take on, I love to do these top 5 lists. I'm a big list guy, and you know, and our fan engagements, they love it too. So I would love to tap in and just get your top 5 list on a few. Top 5 football moments.
Top 5 football moments is winning the Super Bowl, comeback player of the year, any year winning the Lynn Eshmont. It was a special moment each year because of what it meant to me at that particular time. Being a part of, I think every moment, or just collectively being a part of the 49er organization. And I would say too, the opportunity to impact our community, those were some of the biggest moments for me.
Love to know your top 5 favorite players growing up.
Wow, that's easy. Richard Dent, Mike Singletary, Tom Rathman. Yeah. Well, here's the story, because I'll say this real quick. So Tom, when I initially went out for football my freshman year of high school, first time playing organized football, I had dreams of being a fullback, a Matsui type fullback, and Tom Rathman type hybrid guy. And so Tom was one of the guys I looked up to, and just how he ran the ball, just tough nose. But of course, Montana and Jerry Rice as well, top 5.
Wow. And you got a chance to play with Richard Dent, Hall of Famer. Wow.
Yes.
And your top 5 toughest opponents.
Yeah, top 5 individual opponents. Larry Allen at guard, Damani Dawson at center. Kevin Gogan was a tough opponent. I played against Kevin several times. And I had an opportunity to play against Adam Timmerman a few times. Really got a lot of respect and regard for him as a player. Just tough. And Steve Stepnowski, he was a center for the Dallas Cowboys. just a technician. He was quick, he was crafty. But there are a lot of other great players that I missed, but those were the ones that stand out.
Wow. And Bryant, unfortunately, this year we lost a legend and Pro Football Hall of Famer, head coach John Madden. What did he mean to you and to the game of football?
Well, such an iconic figure. What he did as a coach on the field to win championships, the respect and that he garnered on the field, his motivation, his leadership. But my time with him was probably more so in the booth, and then all that the Madden brand stood for. Just an iconic figure, voice. You know, when you had the opportunity to have Madden and Summerall call your games, and it was special if John said something cool and unique about you, and you were waiting for to get home and maybe rewind it and see if John said something cool about you. But he just had this energy. He engaged the fans. I think just how he saw it differently made it so colorful, and he brought the fans in, and he made you want to be a part of it. But it was just his energetic personality and his perspective on the game. Certainly he'll be missed.
If you don't mind sharing, did you ever get a chance to have conversations with him? Because
I did.
Okay. And
yeah, so I had had a chance to go on the bus, on the Madden bus, and production meeting, and just kind of sit and talk and just remember those times. And you think about just like, wow, like these are moments to remember, but you don't think about them at the time. So now you look back and it's like, wow, what a special moment to have with such an iconic figure. And then also you talk about his brand, just the All Madden brand. To be a part of that team each year was, it was almost like it was Madden, Pro Bowl, All Pros. Like, oh, I'm All Madden. Then you get this awesome gear. And so you look forward to that each year. Did I make the All Madden team? Yeah, so it's awesome.
Now I have to ask you this. Were you a video player type, video tech guy? Like,
I played some, yeah.
Okay, so did you like your ratings, or were you like, John, what's going on, coach? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so now it's about the ratings. So it's, back then it kind of, it was a little different. Now it's shifted. So it's all about, okay, is my rating correct? But, when you look at some of the older players, I forget what they call it, but the older players, you can, order them or buy them. So some say my rating is a little lower. I'll take their word for it if they say it's a little low. But yeah, it's an awesome deal to be able to be one of those figures on the game and to be a part of that game. I think what EA and this partnership with the Madden brand they created, I mean, they started something really special and unique.
And while we're still talking about a little football, your 49ers are still in the playoff hunt. They're facing the Green Bay Packers this coming week. Talk about that matchup. And do you have any fond memories of going up into Green Bay? And it's kind of cold outside now, but you from the Chi, so you know
Yes.
about that weather. But
yeah.
You didn't have a problem. But do you foresee the weather, or is it like it's football, man? It's what we do.
Yeah, it's what we do.
Yeah.
You think about it. It's a mentality. You go up in an environment like that, you have to turn it on, and you have to find it, and that you can't let the elements affect you. And so it was never a factor, because you realize both teams are playing in it, and if they got to, if although we're not used to it, but it is what we have to do, and you have to do it as best you can. They're doing the same exact thing. But it's a tough place to play during this time of the year. And so I feel really good about our chances. I love the way the season has went. I thought it was some ups and downs. I thought the season, in terms of the way it went, is built character. And for them to be where they are and the win last week against the Dallas Cowboys and put themselves in a position to play this game in Green Bay, I like their hopes. I like their chances. I'm very hopeful.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And lastly, Bryant, you talk in depth about so much of faith, family, and football, and just how everything has come together. If you were to receive that phone call, or however, What would it mean to you to receive that notice that you are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
You know, it would mean so much because I think about not just me. I think about everybody around me that I had the shared experiences with, that have poured into my life, that my support groups, the coaches, my family, the organization, ownership. There are so many people, rehab doctors that have been part of this journey. And so when I think about that, I am representing all those people that have sharpened me in some type, shape, form, or fashion. And so to be able to be a representative of all those people, it would be special. And then too, when I think about all the blood, sweat, and tears, the broken bones, the tears, the surgeries, the repairs, all the hard things that you go through, the ups and downs, the hard times that grow you, to get that call is to say, you know what, all of that was well worth it.
Well, Bryant, we want to thank you so much for joining us here on The Mission, and we wish nothing but the best to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bryant Young, San Francisco 49ers legend.